You know, I think some large organizations and, of course, large nonprofits often get into a little bit of trouble when you're like, they're not innovating enough, they're not doing so much. But in this case, I think, wow, they're even doing more than some of the startups I heard. So it's really great to see that coming from both ends. Next up, another UN-based organization. Really looking forward to hearing what Olivier has been up to helping refugees around the world. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. I'll take this one. Thank you, everyone. So I feel a bit of pressure because I'm not a tech guy. I'm not an innovation guy. I'm a humanitarian at heart. So I started in the field. And before to go into our project, because of course we have something to show and share with you, but before to go into the project, we thought we would start with a small video, because some people that I talk to here don't even know who or what UNHCR is and does. So we thought, okay, before to tell you about technology, let's bring you a bit in our world, the humanitarian world. It's a 3-minute video. It's not going to last long, and then we'll go more into the technology part. Thank you.
My name is Rayan, and I work for UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency. I want to talk to you about forcibly displaced people around the world. But first, 100 million. How did we get here? By the end of 2021, before the war in Ukraine, there were already 89 million forcibly displaced people globally. This is twice as many as a decade ago. Many of the crises today have been going on for years, and most people fleeing across borders come from just a few countries like Syria, Venezuela, Afghanistan, South Sudan, and Myanmar. This year, the war in Ukraine has added drastically to these numbers. Since February, over 4.5 million people have fled the country. So where do refugees find safety? Countries around the world open their borders so people forced to flee can seek asylum. Countries like Turkey, Colombia, Uganda, Pakistan, Germany, and Bangladesh host the largest number of refugees globally. This year, there has been an outpouring of generosity for refugees from Ukraine, who have found safety in neighboring countries across Europe and beyond. But people forced to flee do not always cross borders. These are internally displaced people, or in short, IDPs. By the end of 2021, 53 million people around the world had been displaced by conflict in their own countries. Some of the largest IDP populations are in Syria, Colombia, DRC, Yemen, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, and Burkina Faso. Behind all these numbers are stories of people who have lost so much, but also resilience and compassion. 100 million is not just a number. It is families, friends, and loved ones. It is a devastating milestone. But it is not a refugee crisis. It's a political crisis. It's a failure of humanity to prioritize peace and stability. But it is also a challenge to everyone. What can you do to help people forced to flee? Find out how you can volunteer to help displaced people near you. Donate. Help raise funds for displaced people around the world. Subscribe to our channel to stay informed. Encourage your leaders to do more for displaced people and boost support for the countries and communities that host them. And most of all, advocate for more lasting solutions to displacement and make peace a priority.
Well, thank you. So it's kind of out of tune with the rest of the discussions today and yesterday. So let's connect a bit both of the worlds. We are Switzerland for UNHCR, so not really UNHCR, we're the Swiss partner for UNHCR, and this is why we are presenting you today, is because by being a national partner, we have more flexibility, agility, and this is how we could enter blockchain through a project that I'm going to present you, and that we have with the Cardano community. So, WRFGS, Taking for Refugees. This is the name of our project. So, just before to go directly into this, I just want to go back a little bit to this, this doubling of people forced to flee in the world. has created a huge challenge for us, because obviously the funds or our budget did not double in 10 years, just as this number did. So of course we had to a little bit reinvent ourselves, because traditionally we are funded by governments for 90+% of our budget, but this is not enough. And governments, they have their own agendas and they want to choose which country or which program. And then we thought, okay, we need to go out there and look beyond, and we started entering into partnership with the private sector. And this is where I think that our blockchain projects started. We are not as advanced as our colleague from UNICEF, and I learned a lot from you guys. I kind of envy you a bit, because it's like this is maybe where we will be in a few years. But I'm going to show you where we started, and we're quite proud of where we are today. So, what is the project I'm going to show you today? It's a stake pool. We work with the Cardano community to launch a charity stake pool. So last year in the Cardano Summit, for those of you who know, so it was in November, last November, we launched, I showed the same video to a bigger audience, and we launched early 2023 this charity stake pool. How does a stake pool, what is a stake pool? I think most of you know it, but just for those of you who might not know it, the validation protocol of the blockchain, in our case, Cardano, uses stake pools to validate transactions, and rewards are then given to the validators. It's called staking. In this case, in our case, this staking is going to us, is going to UNHCR for real programs. 80% go for the most urgent needs. This is the underfunded crisis, and 20% go for UNHCR innovation. So, all in all, I would say this is in between philanthropy, because people will not get the rewards that they will accept, will go for another cause. So now we have about, well, this was a few days ago, so of course we have about 200 delegators for 4.3, now it's probably closer to 5 million ADA. So I didn't check the last exchange rates, but more or less 1.5, 1.8 million USD, and we get a 3.8% reward out of it. So basically this is this money that got created through the stake pool mechanism that goes into a humanitarian purpose. Why Cardano? Because we have, as a UN entity, to follow some SDGs, so Sustainable Development Goals. And of course, we rather went for proof of stake, which is less energy consuming, as you all know. They are based in Switzerland, and as well, what we thought was super interesting for us was the strength of the community. The community plays an immense role, and they're really helping us develop this, because by ourselves we could not do it. So what does that mean, growing with the community? I'll give you two examples here. Oh, well, three examples to be honest. The first one, we partnered with Paris Blockchain Week. We partnered with Consensus in Texas as well. So the proof of attendance for both these conferences was the two NFTs that you could see that are turning. The yellow one is a representation of Yemen. So you can see it's the shape of Yemen. The second one is the city of Kyiv in Ukraine. And basically, people voluntarily contributed by purchasing this NFT. This was their proof of attendance. It got quite a big success. And it was all pro bono, because we found partners that were ready to create the NFT, that minted it, that found a minting solution for us. And basically, we didn't really have to invest into this. So this was a partnership that was kind of a win-win with interested partners. Then we have, for example, Hosky that you see here. I didn't know Hosky before, but basically what they do, they engage the rest of the community. They're going to say, okay, we're not going to delegate your staking pool. This is not what we're going to do. But for everybody that will delegate, we will offer a free token. So basically, it doesn't cost them a large investment as such, if I may say so. But they're creating an unexpected incentive that can motivate people to participate. Then we have as well Cardano over coffee, so this interview, Twitter space, community meetups, etc., etc. So the next thing we're going to do, because on 20th of June, we have the World Refugee Day. So it's not a UNHCR day, it's a World Refugee Day, every 20th of June. And we're going to release the kind hoofs with Cardano community. So this is one of the most successful NFT projects on Cardano, for those who don't know. And they decided to create an exclusive collection for us. So you can see that they are tailor-made in a way, with kind of our usual brand, I would say, and they will be sold on World Refugee Day. So first, if you're interested to kind of get these exclusives, feel free. And of course, in the secondary market, if they're resold, it's going to feed back to us for the, portion of it, to the, it's going to be kind of a recurring revenue. So maybe just a word, why Switzerland? No, I'm going to stay with this one. So why did we do this in Switzerland? Maybe this is interesting because we work in 130 countries, but we started doing it here because, of course, the legislation is good for this, but as well, it's kind of a mecca for philanthropy. You have a lot of foundation, you have a lot of people with a philanthropic mindset and philanthropic interest, and as well, you have a lot of wealth. Let's call a cat, as we say in French. So our idea as well for our next goal would be to develop a bit this philanthropy and Web3, to connect both. We know it's not so much of a topic, or I would say it's a niche topic, but I think we should really, and I'm looking as well at the other presenters here who made the plastics, Impact Scope, UNICEF. I think at the end, it's not so much that we are competing, it's more that we are together wanting to have this Web3 and philanthropy kind of talking more to each other, finding how to contribute to each other. And this can really be, I think, beneficial, of course, for us, but as well for the whole blockchain industry at large. Next, for us, of course, we want to keep growing. We are working with Cardano for a year, and until January 2024 at least, and then they will have another project. But as I was saying, we want to create a bridge with the philanthropy community, and we are looking, this is my big announcement of the day, no, not really, but we are looking as well for whales, for generous whales that could be interested to discuss with me, with my colleague Rafa right here taking a picture afterwards, but even just a connection or something. At the end, and we're not here to really ask anything more than just your opening, you being open to, connection between two worlds. And I think this is it. I think I'm right on time. Any question?